Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very experienced guest with us in the realm of gold exploration and investing. More importantly, I've got Dr. Quentin Hennigh here with us, and he's got quite a bit of experience in the realm of precious metals exploration and investing, namely with gold mining. The price and direction of gold is up. I've got some questions for him as we head out of this pandemic phase here in the economy. And I'd really like to ask an experienced gold investor what he sees with the price of gold today, the direction going forward, and if there are any mining companies out there that he's particularly focused on with the latest, movement in gold's price. So thank you for joining us today, Dr. Hennigh. How are you doing?
Hey, it's a pleasure. I'm doing very well. Look, given the gold price and its direction right now, I think this is going to be the beginning of a very exciting time.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited myself, especially after 2021. January, we saw the highs in gold and silver, and then it was a long, slow march down from there. So we're back to those January 2021 price levels. And I'd like to start out there with, gold crossing $1,900 today. What do you see? What's driving gold price today? And where do you see it going for the rest of 2022?
Yeah, look, gold price, in US dollars, we'll call it fiat currency, and everybody's going to always remember that it's not necessarily the gold's going up, it's the dollar's going down.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
buying power of the dollar, I should say. Look, it is strengthening. And why? Well, look, in my view, gold forecasts inflation. Now, this sounds a little strange. It's a little bit different perspective, but if you look back to the period from about May of 2020 till August of 2020, we saw a pretty good run in gold price. It went up over $2,000 an ounce. It actually peaked sometime, I think, in late August, maybe early September of 2020. And then it's basically come off gently. It's consolidated over a long period now, about 18 months. And now it's taking off again. Now, I think that first rise in gold price actually portended the inflation that we see now. Okay, that sounds crazy, but the inflation that they picked up starting around June of last year was actually forecast by that rise in gold price back in 2020. Okay, now we're seeing another rise in gold price here. Why? Because I think we're going to see another leg of inflation pick up probably within the next 6 to 12 months. We are in inflation right now. Look, people don't remember so well, but back in the 1970s, we had several waves of inflation over about a decade. It started out slow. It was one little wave, early 70s, then another wave, then another wave. I think there was even a fourth wave by the end of it. That's how inflation kind of works its way through because, there's a feedback loop. Once this genie is out of the bottle, it tends to cause a feedback loop in the events that transpire, around people's spending habits, manufacturing, and so forth. They kind of play on one another, and you see it come in waves. It's never a straight line. So what are we seeing? We're going to see much higher gold prices here, and we're going to see a second wave of inflation coming very soon.
Yeah, so you mentioned the 1970s. I myself was born in the 70s, so didn't actually experience, earning income and spending back during that time. But one difference that I noted was back then, interest rates were quite a bit higher than they are today. And you've got a Federal Reserve that is talking about raising interest rates and nominally, I guess would be the best way of saying it, a very, very small increase. And yet gold is still going up. And typically you hear that as rates begin to rise, it's usually not a good thing for gold as people go to bonds. But I see that there's a lot more risk in the market today. There's not as much wiggle room for the Fed to move. So with the increase in gold and knowing what's been happening, seeing it all play out with inflation numbers today, you tend to see some pretty big gains in the mining companies, namely the gold mining companies. When we see gold spot price begin to creep up like it is right now, is it too late, however, for investors like me to get in and catch the higher performing stocks at better values before the run happens?
Yeah, look, here's the fact of this cycle in the gold space. We're just at the beginning. There's no question. We're at the beginning. Okay, we came through a very long bear market in the gold space starting around 2000, 2011, peaked in September 2011, came off, it bottomed around 2014, 2015. It's kind of been working its way out of this trough now for several years, but really the capital spend and so forth that you see amongst mining companies just hasn't been there. Okay, what does it mean? Well, it means that we don't have money going into the next generation of mines. You haven't seen major mining companies buying and acquiring assets over the past few years. But what it means is they now have to get in the saddle and start acquiring things. Okay, it's going to be a very interesting ride here. I think there's going to be a lot of junior companies with high quality assets that are going to be taken out over the next 5 or 10 years. But we are at the beginning of the cycle. We are not anywhere near the peak of it. This is just beginning. We've been through an 18-month period of consolidation in gold. And quite frankly, this is the time to get in. If you're not in yet, you better start thinking about it.
Well, I'm definitely thinking about it. And you mentioned, acquisitions, because it does take quite a bit of time from a discovery to, obviously get that gold to market. So, knowing that and knowing that there's going to be, bigger firms out there making acquisitions, that's great news. But what about, companies that are really on the cusp of it today? Are there any particular companies that you're more focused on? Any big news out there? Anything you can inform my viewers on that they should put on their radar as far as mining stocks today?
Yeah, you know what? I work here at Crescat, and we invest in a number of mining companies. But one of the more intriguing stories that's really emerged here in terms of an exploration story, high quality exploration story, a very high grade discovery, is Blue Lagoon, Blue Lagoon Gold. They were on to
Yeah.
an interesting project, an interesting discovery in British Columbia. This property they have, Dome Mountain, is basically was in private hands for many, many years. And, they acquired the asset, and it's been, we'll say, not in the inventory of, geologists like us, over time. This is a brand new project, really, for most of us. So we're getting to see early stage exploration and the success it brings. If you look at the existing resource, they're very high grade. That's what caught my attention. This project, the existing resource, the vein, is exceptionally high grade, but it's wide open. It's wide open at depth. And the other thing that caught my attention is this particular deposit displays a lot of characteristics of some other very, very large gold systems around the world. Things like Porgera in New Guinea, which is a 29 million ounce gold deposit. The Buritica deposit in Colombia, which is well over a 10 million ounce gold deposit. This project at Dome Mountain geologically has very strong similarities. And when I saw this, I thought, we should take an investment. So I advised Crescat to take a large stake in Blue Lagoon. And the team there, Bill Cronk, who leads it, has been doing a fantastic job of drilling. I even helped or worked with Bill back in August of last year to talk about their targeting, talk about, what they might have here, like what could drilling prove up here. And they started drilling in earnest and started getting some fantastic results. They announced some of those late last year, but here recently they announced a new discovery at the Chance Showing, the Chance Zone, which is it's north of the main area that they've traditionally focused. They hit a brand new vein, 7.3 meter intercept of about 15 grams per ton gold equivalent. That's nearly half an ounce per ton. Wow. It's an absolutely remarkable discovery. There's another vein downhole from that. I think it was a meter and a bit of about 1 ounce per ton. So it's proving up to be that the thesis is panning out. It's proving up to be a system very similar to these other ones that I mentioned. And I think you're going to see Blue Lagoon and this Dome Mountain project be one of the most exciting gold exploration stories in Canada this year.
Okay, well, that's pretty exciting. While you were speaking, I actually pulled up Blue Lagoon and took a look at their news releases, and I'll actually link that down in the video description once our discussion is over. So for those of you viewing, if you'd like to catch up with all the news from Blue Lagoon, I see here it looks like they added a second rig 20,000-meter drill program on Dome Mountain at the beginning of the
That's
month.
right. Look, I'm a geologist, done a lot of exploration in my life. When you know you're onto something, you go long. And the fact that the company has announced an additional 20,000-meter drill program tells me that they must feel very confident they're onto a major discovery.
All right. So I see another one here, and actually, I'm going to need your help with this one because I'm more of a physical guy when it comes to stacking precious metals, not as much when it comes to investing. So hopefully, you can help me out with this one here, because this is talking about the high grade intercept. It says here that Blue Lagoon is pleased to announce that a recent drilling has encountered new high grade vein intercepts of the company's 100% owned Dome Mountain. So that was what you were just speaking about there.
Correct.
Uh, and then a second high grade vein also encountered further down the hole. So, okay, yeah, I can see why they would want to invest some capital then into additional drilling if they're actually encountering this grade of gold on site. And I did cover Blue Lagoon last year actually here on the channel, and if I recall, it's actually not that far away from civilization.
It is. It's a pretty good location in British Columbia. It's not remote, road accessible. You got Houston, which is nearby. It's got other projects in the immediate vicinity. There are mines in this area, so it's infrastructure wise, it's well situated.
Yeah, so you've got a very favorable mining area. Obviously, Canada, British Columbia too. The winter weather isn't quite as harsh out there as some of the other parts of Canada, which helps with that 24/7, 365 mining operation. Any other news coming out of Blue Lagoon that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, look, they have a lot of drill holes in the lab right now. They drilled aggressively late last year, and the result that we just talked about, the one that was released last week, is really just the first hole out of that chance zone. I expect a lot more holes to be announced over time. So they've got lots of news from those assays coming back, but they also have this 20,000-meter program that they're undertaking. So I would expect Blue Lagoon to have a nice steady stream of assays and news about how they're expanding this gold system over the next few months.
I see. It looks here like just reading the very last news report that they're actually looking to make their fourth shipment of concentrate. So the company's actually shipping ore from the Dome Mountain site to its partner here. That's good news.
Yes. Yeah, look, they're one of the few junior companies that actually does have a component of production, and they are shipping ores and then toll milling, and then the concentrates are sold. They are taking in revenue, which is an amazing feat for a small junior company like this.
Yeah, I see here that it's valued. This shipment in particular valued at a little more than 500,000 US dollars. So that's incredible. You got a zero debt company, 100% ownership on the site. They're actually earning revenue, and they're on top of even higher grade gold, and even more of it than they thought, namely with what you were informing us about, how the similarities between this particular mine location and some of the other sites you've obviously had experience with across the world. So that's pretty good news. So definitely we'll have lots of links and information on Blue Lagoon Resources down below. Also, the link to the video where I covered them last year, so you can catch up on the management team and basically the mission, what they were actually accomplishing. And then compare that to the news releases today, and I think you'll see that you've got a winner. Anything else you'd like to add, sir, today to my audience?
Yeah, look, again, I can't emphasize enough that we are in the beginnings of this cycle. There's no question that this is early stage. How long do gold cycles last? 5 years, maybe 10 years, something like that. I think we're on the cusp of a very important cycle. Mining industry is undercapitalized. Junior companies who are doing this exploration heavy lifting, they're making the discoveries these companies are going to need to buy. And I think Blue Lagoon companies like this that have exciting new discoveries are well positioned for this gold cycle.
Yeah, absolutely, because the money's going to come flowing in. It's
That's right.
money's going to find a new home. Once it leaves the Nasdaq, continued cryptocurrency regulation
And Bitcoin. I noticed
yeah.
that. Yeah, notice that we might have new regulations around Bitcoin here soon.
Yeah, I mean, people are used to this day kind of moving their money to fast moving locations, so that's why they typically stay away from gold and silver. But when they see the spot price increasing and what that does, namely with the junior miners, as we've talked about here, you could see some pretty explosive gains in those, especially with those companies that are already obviously in good positions. They own the site. They're maybe not profitable, but at least they're earning revenue now, which will become profitable here in the future. And So thank you for sharing that information with me. I really appreciate it. It was definitely nice having a conversation with you today. More links and more information down below in the video description section. Definitely check out Blue Lagoon Resources. I'd like to thank you all for watching today. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I'll be happy to get to them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll reach out to the team and see if I can get that answer for you. So thanks for being on the show today. Really appreciate it. And hope you have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching our video. I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel.